hello, and welcome to Rebel Unicorn Crafts. Today we have a bit of a different type of project for me. Usually I focus on art tutorials, things like that, so that I can help you find your creative path forward or work on your skills. But today this one is a project that I want to share with you that might help you, maybe not, but it was something I did for my heart and for my own mental ability to kind of wrap my head around a situation. It's been quite a few months of just craziness. And I know that we've moved on societally to other issues that need addressing, but we're still in the midst of a pandemic, and the number of American lives to me is quite staggering that we've lost. I mean, we've lost a lot around the world, but the number that we in this country seem to have just kind of moved on from is it's disheartening to me. I remember when this all started, when we started kind of quarantining and restrictions for COVID-19. They originally kind of had said if we did nothing, it would be about 500,000 Americans that died, and that was a terrifying number. Very likely one of my grandparents could have been part of it. And then when we started restrictions, things started to look a little better, and we had reduced that number to 60,000, which is a huge impact on a death toll. But we treated that number kind of like, 60,000 people will die. I mean, not really. Nobody's sitting at home saying that. But because it was so much better, I think we became kind of desensitized to it. At least I know even I personally did, and I think I'm a pretty sensitive person. And then that was when I realized that I couldn't mentally wrap my head around 60,000 anything. So mid-quarantine, I started this project. I wanted to know what 60,000 of anything looked like. And my simplest solution was to use paint and dots. And one dot, because I'm not a machine, I'm just a person, one dot would equal one life. And I started this with the goal of getting to 60,000, and a few days later it was very clear that it was going to be beyond, so I set a second goal of 80,000. And it is now June 22nd, and I have officially run out of space that I had remaining in this book to do this, as well as I don't know if I'm going to be able to catch up or keep up at this point. So I ended up making dots to represent 95,950 of the lives lost to COVID-19. It is June 22nd. I'm firmly in the camp that this is a real thing. And even if not all the numbers are exactly correct, we're in the ballpark. We in general know what's happening. As of June 22nd, Bing's COVID map was reporting 121,766 deaths. As of June 22nd, Google was reporting 122,000 deaths. It might have been rounded up. Even if you don't trust either of those sources, our own CDC said on May 22nd that we had May 28th that we had officially reached over 100,000 deaths. And quite frankly, it's still ticking up, and I won't be able to catch back up, I don't think, at this point. Each one of my pages is 3,000 dots. And while I started with this, and this was taking me a really long time, I was able to reduce my time by using these little squeeze dotting tubes. To make those 95,950 dots, it took me at least 20 hours, 44 minutes, and 59 seconds. And that's all of the recording time I did for this. I think that there were some times when my camera was dead or I ran out of space and it didn't record. So it's probably closer to 21 to 22 hours, and that doesn't include drying times. It's just pure dotting in between things. So in this video here, this is an explanation of that project. I will show you how I started dotting. I will flip through this book so you can see it change colors and you can see the mass of dots. And I'll give you a snippet of real-time versus sped-up speed. I tested a variety of different paints, inks, watercolors, and different acrylic varieties, as well as dotting tools, skewers, ends of paint brushes, and a dotting tool to find out what gave me the best results. And I found that using the dotting tool with acrylic craft paint was my best option. I did later find out that it was much faster to use the squeeze tubes. And, while I wasn't trying to absolutely speed through this, I was trying to make it so that I would be able to finish this project, and that really saved me time. It probably reduced the amount of time by almost 40% per page of dots that I completed. Here is the real-time speed of me completing a row of dots with the dotting tool. In each one of these rows, I put 50 dots that I just counted out. So I suppose there is some human error in here. There are probably some lines that have a few more and a few less. But it did take a while with the dotting tool because I would have to reload it about every 5 dots that I put. And so that was why using the other tool that I'll show in a minute sped things up so much. With the dotting tool, I was probably spending over an hour on each page, at least initially when I was kind of getting into the flow of things. And so this is one row. I tried to vary the length of each row so it made kind of an interesting visual pattern. And here is the sped up version. And here is the real-time speed of using my squeeze bottle. You can see it greatly improved the speed. I was mainly limited by the amount of squeezing I could do and how fast I could count while dotting. And then here is the version of that sped up. That will be in the other video that I'm going to do. This project was done over in a paper sketchbook. On some of the pages I did one side when I first started, and then I realized I could actually do both sides. But the sheer number of dots was quite overwhelming. You'll see that as I moved through, I changed the color, which I thought was kind of an interesting visual aspect to this. But mainly I'm just in awe of the number of dots. So next what I'm going to do is play a little music while I flip through all of the dots so you can see them in order. I'm going to upload a second video that is going to have the full dotting process sped up by 1,000 times because I don't have the laptop power to produce a 20-hour type thing, nor does anybody have the time to look at that. And so even sped up by 1,000 times, it's a pretty long video. If you want to maybe take a moment to reflect or think about, have a moment of silence for any of the people who have lost their lives in this process, you can watch that video. This really changed my thinking about 80,000 deaths, 90,000 deaths, and now we're at over 100,000 deaths. Each one of these represents a life, and I feel both sad but also thankful that I was able to take the time to do this and understand the reality of that. So I'm thinking about everyone who has been directly impacted by this. I've been fortunate that it has not directly impacted my family, but I know there are a lot of people out there who have been.
Thank you for taking the time to watch this and to also share some thoughts and a place in your heart for these people and their loved ones. If you'd like to take some more time, you can check out the next video that I post that shows every one of these dots that represent a life being placed onto this paper.